Good morning. Good morning. This is just an impromptu share because I don't have the little ones. Hey Valerie. I just thought I would do a quick share of what we read in the mornings. Hey there. Let me flip this around. Kate from Seattle. Yes, the poetry girl. Hey Kate. Hey there Jen. I'm going to try to keep this quick because Daniel's making us pizza for lunch and it's in the oven. So I just wanted to share. We don't have a morning basket. We pile it on the mantle right beside of my Olivia. Yes, I'll remember your name one day, I promise. Hey, woo! I'm not used to broadcasting hey there on my phone, and I wasn't prepared for my face being so big and the camera. So I'm here in the schoolroom. We had a late morning time because my grandson didn't come this morning. He was visiting with family and we were just taking it easy and doing some things. So I just wanted to share with you what we do for morning time. Generally, the idea is, the plan is for my older boys, well, they're my youngest boys, but my oldest students to get up with me in the mornings and for us to have, good afternoon, for us to have our morning time together and be done by 9:30 or 10 so that then my grandson, hey Andy, my grandson can come, and while my big boys start their math and language arts, I do another morning time with my grandson. 19 and 14 are my youngest two children, and then I'm co-schooling my grandson. He's 7, and I have him just about every day. I mean, I want him to come every day because we have a lot of fun, and then sometimes I do things with my granddaughter who's just a few months older, so they're 8 and 7. In fact, we have tea time scheduled for Thursday. We were doing tea time every week, and through the holidays fell out of that, and we're trying to get back into the habit of tea time every week, where we do Shakespeare and poetry and art study and music study and things like that during our tea time. So we've got that scheduled for Thursday. So what I did at the beginning of the year was to make myself a bookmark. Co-teachers are great. With, to encourage me to stay in the routine. And it says, a morning in which a child receives no new ideas is a morning wasted. How convicting is that? So it makes me remember that morning time is very, very important. So I did a schedule. We don't do morning times on Tuesday because that's our co-op day. But if we don't have co-op that day, then we'll do something together. And hey Carter, my grandson's on there. So I made a list of what books we're going to read each day. But since then, I didn't set this up very good because I had 2 books that was in the same vein on the same day. And it was too much repetitive. So I've been working on revamping my loop for a morning schedule. But I'll turn the camera around and point out what we're reading, okay? So we do not do all of these every day. We do this one every day. This is the devotional we're going through now. And this is coming up next. Oh, it's fun with us. No, I am thinking about, Redhead, I don't know your name. I like your handle. I'm thinking about sharing our, the way we do Ambleside, the way I tweak it, because Allison did, and she's got like year 4. And we're doing years 8 and 10. Hey, Katie, in year 2. So we're doing 3 different years and how we fix it. Yes, I mean, I've read this before, but we'll probably read this through the summer. Yes, that's exactly right. The morning time are things, they're quick and we do them together, and it's fun, and we do have a lot of discussion. So we're going through this Training Heart and Teaching Minds, which goes through the catechisms. So you're very close to what we are. Yeah, we've done year 6. And then this is going to be up next. So like I said, this is first. We just got done reading. We have a read aloud, and the boys said that I didn't read this to them when they were younger, so they wanted us to do it. So we're going through Robinson Crusoe right now, just as a fun read aloud for in the morning. It's just an extra read. And we've been going through this how to read a book very, very slowly. I like the term that some of the Ambleside ladies coined, a slow simmer, to go through a book, and that's exactly how we go through this, just a tidbit at a time. And we're also going through Mere Christianity together very slowly. And so we read like a page or two, and then we discuss it thoroughly, and I have them narrate to me. But because they're older, it's more of a discussion. I let them share their thoughts, and then I share my thoughts, and sometimes we agree, sometimes we disagree, sometimes we, you know, try to figure out what is he trying to say to us, you know. The big boys, I do this stuff with the big boys before he gets here. And after my grandson comes, then I'll show you what I do with him, and then my boys do independent work after that. Now, we've been through both of these, the Fallacy Detective and Thinking Toolbox, so we do maybe one a week just for fun, or one every couple of weeks because we've already been through them. But, you know, they're just fun. And sometimes we'll do this one when my grandson's here because it's just fun for him to listen. So I shared in my poetry scope, we're reading from this book now, and since we're doing Emerson, they really didn't like a lot of the poems that's in here, but I think they like some from nature, so I pulled this book out to read along. And then I also, to go along with that, I found this book, Literary America, that goes over a biographical sketch of several American writers, and then a couple of selections. So, yeah, it's just a little bit. So I decided I'm only going to read the one. Now we've read some that we trudged through. I'm only going to read ones that I think we'd have a connection with, and those would definitely be the nature ones. So we're probably only going to read him this week, maybe some next week, then we're going to go to the next person. I haven't used this book yet, but I've had it. I used it when they were younger, and I'm thinking about revamping it with them. The Lives of the Musician. I think Allison shared this one. I do have a, hey Leah, wow, you're on. You're in my time zone now, Leah. I will share these on my, I'll share these on my library blog, and because that blog is only for books, and I will only share books on that blog. It's promiselivinglibrary.blogspot.com. Yay, that's great. So I will post all of these on there because that's all I'm gonna post. Now the Blue Fairy book, we've listened to Anderson's before and done other fairy tales. My boys, especially Daniel, my nonfiction guy, he despises this book. It is so funny, you know, but I make him listen. He just despises it. He's like, why do we have to read fairy tales? And I'm like, just because they're fun and they stretch your imagination. Like he didn't like Alice in Wonderland either, and you know, things like that. He is my nonfiction reader, but we still go through it. It's fun. I enjoy them. So we've got other colors. We've got the red one and the olive one, the green one, and different colors. But right now we've got the Blue Fairy book. And we are doing Shakespeare, so we read the easy one first, and then we loved it. Red is up next. Hold on, I'm going to walk around my schoolroom a minute. And then we have, they each have their own copy of the original that we're going to listen to with the Audible, because I like the dramatization, so when we listen to it on Audible, they can have the original. So, oh, well, I don't have very many posts on there. So that's why we read, where is it? We read this one first, and our we've got several easier retellings that we always do first. And we read it when they were younger, but we want to go over it again, Hamlet and Macbeth this year, because they're older. So that's poetry, devotion, worldview, fairy tales, Shakespeare, music. Now, I think that's everything on the show. Oh, I am going through Plutarch. Which one did you read first? This is Charles and Mary Lamb. Hold on. Let me see if this will focus. Charles and Mary Lamb. But I can go into the library, Andy, when I get done, if you remind me, and show you the other ones we have. Yeah, Tales from Shakespeare. Because there's another one that we like more for the older children. So we also do the picture studies, just like Allison shared. I love these. Really, really love these. So we have that up right here. That's the current art. That's the current piece of art. And we leave that up longer than we're supposed to. We really leave them up and talk about it and enjoy it longer. But for Plutarch, what I did was I printed off from the Ambleside the guide, the Ann White guide, right here, and we're going to do Romulus next. So we just go through the printed off things, but then she started publishing the book, so we did buy this for our next ones, for the next ones we're going to do, by Ann White. So if you're interested in Plutarch, I would definitely encourage getting this book. Faithful Mama, I don't know you. Nice to have you on Scopes. I'm glad you're back, even though I didn't know you before. And this is one of my favorite books. It's A Child's History of Art. This was, yes, it takes a while. It takes a while, even with the guides. But once you make it a habit, and the guides make it easy to do it quickly. So the Plutarch guides really do help. You've got 10 weeks. You can even schedule it. I've scheduled it before, and we didn't get done in 10 weeks. Because sometimes Plutarch gets on the back burner, but my son really does enjoy these. My nonfiction one that really despises the Blue Fairy book, he really enjoys Plutarch. So that encourages me to keep on plugging up. But The Child's History of Art, this was a book I had to invest in. I was lucky to find it for $40. Let me bring it to my desk so you guys can see the end. It's the Hillier, A Child's History of Art. And it is a beautiful, very well written book that goes through the history of art. I don't read all of them in one day. So we're going through this very slowly. Another slow one. We are on chapter 7 only. And I read this one with the little ones. But because it's such an expensive book and so wonderful, even though my older ones, they have read, what was this, Schaeffer book? And they did an art history course that was based on the Schaeffer book. Somebody help me. What was the Schaeffer book? Who Shall We Then... something. My mind is going blank, but they studied art history more thoroughly. Even though this is for children, they listen in with the littles because this is so extremely well written and explains the chronological history of art. Let me get this back. Okay, so someone asked, yes, Francis Schaeffer. Someone asked if I read all of those in one day. No. I had my little bookmark, and we read this every day, and then we may read this once every 2 weeks, this once every 2 weeks, this once every 2 weeks. We just rotate. Yeah, How Should We Then Live? I think it's How Should We Then Live? Yeah, exactly. My children, my older ones have already, well, not my 8th grader, but he's going to read that in high school, and they did a art history course based on that book in co-op. So they've already studied that, but yet I don't want to miss this because this is so beautifully written. So that's my I think that's all for my big boys. Now when Carter comes, this is his little stack for morning time. I read him out of Little Ones to God about 3 times a week, and he uses the Bible verses in here for his scripture memory box, for his memorization. Then we do either, yes, I haven't seen the video set, but I've wanted to get it. We do poetry out of one of these 2 books right now. He is 7, and then he reads this to me. He reads this out loud to me. Yeah, I like the, morning basket is a term that's been coined. I've noticed it through the homeschool world, but basically it's just our morning time. Basically it's just our morning time, and a lot of I like to think of it as the fun stuff of the Charlotte Mason morning. The world, we do for the older, especially with the older ones, we do the rich poetry and the world view and the devotions and a read aloud and the fairy tales. It's just fun, and we just rotate it. And I'm trying to think of some of the other things that we have read together, but we enjoy it. My boys, they sit, the riches. So I'll show you, give you a little. Yes, let me see, Plutarch book again. It's the, you can get, oh, I gotta flip it around. Hold on. No, not stop broadcast, flip. Hold on. There we go. All right. I downloaded some of hers from Ambleside online for free. But because I didn't mind at all purchasing the book because of how much her studies have helped us through the years, and I purchased this book on Amazon. And I can write in it. Yeah, I know. I can't walk and talk at the same time, Andy. So this is my big comfy chair where I sit. You can find me here almost all day long, every day, sometimes, to tell you the honest truth. And my boys share the little couch. Now, when we have had more furniture in here when I had more students, so when the boys leave, I can still fit on that little couch with both of my grandchildren and read. Let me take you, are you still interested, Andy, in the other Shakespeare ones? Because I can take you to the library if you are. I'll show you, maybe you can see if you're interested in the other Shakespeare ones, I can, okay, so I'll try not to make you dizzy. And we'll take a little walk to the library. Ooh, okay. Because when I went through my poetry books, all my Shakespeare books got in the same place, so I know where they are. Okay, here they are. The Leon Garfield Shakespeare stories. Those I've really, really enjoyed for the older ones. And then the Beautiful Stories from Shakespeare is excellent also. Yes, so many books. So these we really, in fact, we read Julius Caesar out of this one, this section. So that's these and Tales from Shakespeare, Beautiful Stories from Shakespeare, or Leon Garfield Shakespeare. Yeah, all of those are great. Let's see, and we enjoyed this Diane Stanley. You've heard of her biographies. We've enjoyed this one. Yes, they narrate to us, and when they're younger, you build them up and you get them to be to the point to where, like, they start narrating and they may say 2 things, but then you model it for them. Like, I might narrate for them, and I found this for $1, guys. The Complete Works of Shakespeare. Yeah, the Bard of Avon. That's a wonderful one. And then I found a couple more. That's a picture book of just one of the plays. So this is one that's Macbeth. And this is one that's The Winter's Tale. I'd like to find more. The Winter's Tale. And this Shakespeare is what I do with Kaylee and Carter. And they absolutely... Have you seen these, Andy? These are the best thing ever. We have so enjoyed using these. My best friend Lynn did it with her children and told me how to do it. Let's see if I can get... A teacher wrote these with her like 2nd grade class, and so it's in prose. It's written in prose, and then the children drew the pictures, and it says who drew it. You see, like Tyler, age 7, drew that. And they even wrote, let me see if there's some letters. Yeah, they even wrote what they think the letters would have been. And it's hilarious because she didn't change the spelling or correct it, and it is just the most adorable thing. So what they do is, after we read this or read a section, then I let them use markers, because this is what it looks like, markers, and I encourage them to draw. And this was my best friend. She gave me this idea, and I'm like, awesome. To draw the character in the same style as these books. So we have gone through Romeo and Juliet. Whoop, it's not focusing. We've gone through Romeo and Juliet, and we've gone through this one first for them to be introduced to Shakespeare, and now we're going through Hamlet. I'm going to take you on another little walk and show you, because I think their pictures are so adorable. I think there's like 6 or 7, Andy. So this is their artwork that they drew of Hamlet, that my grandchildren drew after reading that book. Is that not adorable? So they get to have their own artwork hung up in our gallery. So that was my, I'm trying not to fall down the steps. That was my friend's idea, and I just absolutely love it. So I think that's all for our morning routine and what we do. Is there any other questions? Oh, that's their little Easter bunting that they made. How do you do a drawing at a separate time? Yes, well, we sit down and we read a little bit at a time, and they begged me. Let me sit down. Hold on. Thank you. They begged me to keep on reading. I mean, those books, the Lois, I don't know how to say her last name. They begged me to keep on reading the, I love my old house. It's very cold. My feet are frozen and I'm wearing wool socks, but it's pretty. It's pretty in here. They begged me to read more, so I would just read a couple pages at a time. And when once or twice during the book, we would do a drawing. So they didn't draw every time, because I don't want to stress them out. I want it to be fun for them. So, like for Shakespeare, they only drew one. They drew Shakespeare. For Romeo and Juliet, they drew Romeo and Juliet. So for, for Hamlet, they've drawn Hamlet, but we're not done. And this is the first book I want them to draw more than one character. So at tea time tomorrow, that's, yay! Well, good. Maybe you can find those Shakespeare books at the library if you're interested, because they are new, and I think they're popular even in the public school world. So, anyway, back to that question. They drew one, and I'm going to try to get them to draw 2 different drawings for the Hamlet book. And then, after we get done going through all of those series, then I'll read beautiful stories from Shakespeare to them. Oh, and I have one more Shakespeare thing. Where did I put it? Hold on. If y'all have seen this, let me turn the camera around. Have y'all seen this? The Master Puppet Theater with Shakespeare. It is so cool, but I haven't let them play with it too much because I'm really thinking that I need to laminate these first. But it doesn't have all, yes, it's finger puppets. How cute is that? It's Macbeth finger puppets. So, oh, that is amazing that she got it for $5. Yeah, so it's a curtain, it's a theater, and see it's got all this stuff, but I know how rough we can be and I want it to last. This cardstock, but still, I'm thinking about laminating. Yeah, some of the seams are scary, or some of the puppets are scary. I'm thinking if I laminate them, they'll just have a longer lifetime. I do, for my grandchildren, I do it during tea time because I'm co-schooling them. But when it was my own children, we did it in the morning. Does that make sense? So, because I'm only schooling my grandson every day, and then my granddaughter is supposed to come once a week for tea time, and we fell out of the habit, but we're trying to make ourselves get back into it. I'm going to put this back. Sorry. Let me flip it. So yes, for them, I do the fine arts during tea time, you know, once a week or when we do it. But Carter, he's here with me, and I gave my daughter-in-law some books to have for Kaylee to look through. I'll have to show you, let me show you since we're talking about it. And I can put all of these on the blog. This is what we're doing. Whoop. Flip. I love these books. So we do this for art study for the children. Have Allison and Andy, are y'all still on here? Have you heard of these? Can you find it too, and can you see it? It is promiselivinglibrary.blogspot.com. It might take me a while to get all these on here, but I will. They are fun. They are very fun. So you've got this piece of art, and then it tells you, in the painting of the crowded beach, can you find 4 baby carriages, 2 open umbrellas, 1 shovel in hand. It is just so much fun. So much fun. And then I have, way back on my Instagram feed, I have the children were looking one morning, and it was so funny to see them. And they have several in the series. There's at least 3, I think. And then we're going through the story of the orchestra with them, which I absolutely love. So, because I love music. So you've got part 1, you've got the composers, and it goes through the different time periods, and then it goes through a composer. Yes, do you have it already? I thoroughly love this one. Let me see what else is in my drawer. Yeah, that's the Hamlet one that we're doing for tea time. And I did this book first, the orchestra. This one I did first before we did anything else, to talk to them about the orchestra. So I highly recommend this one. This was a lot of fun. And then I got out my saxophone, and we have a few instruments and let them see it. So they learn what the woodwind and the brass section, and yeah, well, you know, get this one first and then do the other one. So I think that's, yeah, I got that one, Medieval Tapestries to color. Let me see, the orchestra one is written by, here, if you want to take a screenshot, Mark Rubin, Alan Daniel. The orchestra. I ordered this off. Oh, yay! Yeah, the children thought it was absolutely hilarious. Oh, and I do this with them together. I do our geography together. What is that box of goodness used for? This is my desk drawer, Andy. This is just my desk drawer. where I put their tea time stuff in whenever I'm not doing it. This one does have a CD, so you can listen to it. So this one, is that the one you wanted a screenshot of? Me. Yes, Tea Time Organizer, exactly. Because I ran out of room on my floor for baskets. Now there's another one that we did first called Can You Hear It? And that's the one we did before because it combined artwork with classical music. So it was this, and it had a CD, and it was Can You Hear It Too? By the Metropolitan Museum of Art. So we did that one last year before we came to these. That's fine. So, and that one was so much fun. The Can You Hear It? Because, like, it explained to you what the violins were supposed to be sounding like the butterflies or something like that in the piece of art. I'll have to find it because I don't know exactly where it is in my library right now. Let me go, hold on, I'll go look. If I can find it really quickly, I will. Oh, I'm trying to go slower so I don't make you dizzy. That is my fiction section, guys. All right, bye, Olivia. I will definitely post them on your thing. Where is my Can You Hear It? Anyway, I can't find it. I'm gonna make you dizzy doing that, so I'll find it and post it on the you see Carter's castle he made? Isn't that the cutest? He made that in co-op. Yeah. And these old toys up here, guys, they're the old Fisher-Price toys. They are great for history toys. So they're a lot of fun. So when we read like Robin Hood, that's Robin Hood's treehouse. How cool is that? Yes, go to booksalefinder.com and maybe you'll find one in your area. That's where I find a lot of my book sales. And I missed a huge library sale right in the next county. And I'm so disappointed in myself because I missed a library sale that's like 20 minutes away and I missed it. So anyway, well, I'm going to sign off and I'll put this on. Now, what beach are you at? What beach are you at? Because I'm an hour and a half away from our Carolina coast. Oh wow! So you're across the whole United States. I have family in Ventura, and I went there whenever I was 2, but I don't remember it. It's an amazing place that we have Little John and Robin Hood and. Yeah, it's just so great. And then we have Playmobil. I hope all of you know what Playmobil is. To me, Playmobil and wooden blocks, oh, that's good. Oh, Florida's too humid. North Carolina is humid enough for me, but I'd love to go visit because my best friend lives in Florida. Yeah, we have, oh, that's where we keep the Playmobil and we switch it out. We've got castles and knights now, and we switch it out depending on what we're studying. This is Fisher-Price. They're called Adventure Rangers or something, and I found a lot of them on, I found them at thrift stores, but when I was collecting them for my now 19-year-old, whenever he was 5, and I was collecting them for him, I found some on eBay. And I have given half of it away, and then we have the schoolroom wooden blocks. So with wooden blocks and castles, you got playing forever. So, yes. So anyway, I'm going to eat some lunch because my wonderful son made us a homemade pizza for lunch. And I just wanted to hop on and share my morning basket. Thank you. Oh, and Allison, I think I'll share what we do for the Ambleside and how we do it. And I asked my son to think about it if he is willing to serve by being on a scope with me to share. He has much more insight on some of the books in the higher years than I do because he read them and I haven't. So, and he's very good at telling me what's in a book. Yeah, but if you know in advance, like, you know, if you know in advance what to look for, because a lot of people that do AO, Ambleside Online, they feel like that they need to pre-read a lot, and I understand that. So, yeah, for the future, because I pre-read some, but once they got to be a certain age, yeah, I just had to trust AO, and I read their directions, because one of the books he read this year, I didn't read the post about it, and we had some fun conversations about that one. I'll have to share that on another post. It was so fun. I do read along with them because I enjoy reading so much. I'll tell it on the post, on the AO post. It's funny. But on the AO scope, I've got to get some things together and have a game plan for that scope, because I have a feeling there'll be a lot of questions and I want to have some answers instead of just winging it. Like, this is just a winging scope. But like, he had Life and Death in Shanghai on his list one year, and I read it with him because I was so intensely interested in that. So when you read along with them, the discussion is so much better. It's you know, narration, you're not supposed to ask them questions. It's so great when you're reading the book with them and you ask them for their insights, or what did you think about this, or, you know, how do you think they felt, or do you know, what kind of, did you even know that happened in history? With Life and Death in Shanghai, with the Cultural Revolution, I'm like, I went to school, never even heard that was a time period or an event. And it was so amazing to read that with him and share the thoughts of what, you know, that part in history. So right now we're reading Frankenstein and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde together, which I'm reading on my own and he's reading on his own. And every now and then when we pass in the hallway, you know, what's going on? What part are you at? It is so much fun to read these books with somebody when they get older. Yes, those are on the AO schedule. And Allison, I'll show you, because we're reading, when we get done, they say to read this book with it. But I read the first chapter and I said, no, I'm not going to read it with it because it's telling me everything that's happening in the book. So we're going to read this together after we get done reading both of them. So that's one way we're tweaking AO. Well, he is doing a combination of years 10, 11, and 12 because he's really on his 5th year of high school, because he still has not decided. He's 19. He has not decided exactly what he wants to do. And right now he's going to work this summer and then go to community college, because the two things that he wants to go into community college. So that's all. He's narrowed it down to two areas. So he's taking a 5th year, which has been great. It's really been great for him. It really took the stress off of him. You know, he's grown up. It's like schooling an adult. It has its challenges sometimes. Because this morning when we read a poem, he said, I only like the first part. I didn't like the rest of it. It didn't make any sense. He should have just stopped at the beginning. This is my nonfiction loving guy. You know, he's like, why did he keep on writing? You know, he just doesn't understand fairy tales or poetry. It's so funny. And so I made him, I said, well, you're going to read this poem again. He said, no. And I said, you're not allowed to tell me that. You have to read it again. You know, and I was like, you can't say that because I'm still your teacher. But because he is an adult, it's hard sometimes. So we just love each other and you know, figure it out a little bit at a time. So he did read it and he was glad he did. But, you know, sometimes it's sort of weird because he's so grown up. monsters in literature. Well, you know what? I bet you would really enjoy, as a Christian, reading that Deadliest Monster, because it helps look at it from a Christian worldview. And unless you went to a Christian college, you probably didn't get that. So to weigh out and balance what your professor said, oh, wow, that's good. That's really good. I'd sort of like to hear what a secular person says about it and weigh it out against what the Christian worldview is, So I bet that was great. That was really great. A lot of, I'm a light reader. Like, I prefer Narnia over Lord of the Rings, and I prefer Jane Austen over Bronte sisters. That's just my nature. I like the sweet, happy, precious stuff to read. So reading about monsters is not my choice, but I have thoroughly enjoyed reading it with my son and discovering it with him. So AO has stretched me as a reader. It got me out of all historical Christian fiction, was all I used to read. Yeah. My best friend is too, and we're very, very much alike, Allison, and very like-minded on a lot of things. I mean, we're extremely like-minded, but it's so neat that we have that a little bit of difference. So she likes the scary movies, whereas I want the romantic comedies, So it's really good. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy it, but if I had to, that question, what do you have on an island? And the only books, they would definitely not be, it would be the cheery, happy books is the ones I would want to have if that was all I had. But I enjoy stretching myself. So anyway, Pride and Prejudice and zombies together. I love Pride and Prejudice. In fact, I told my son he wanted to listen to some more books on Audible, and I said, as many times as you have watched the movies, having me and, his sister, you need to listen to it on Audible, because I think you'll really enjoy it. So he might. He reads Winston Churchill for fun and Tom Clancy. Those are his favorite to read. Anyway, it's way past my lunchtime, guys, so I'm going to sign off, and I will get all these books on my blog eventually. Yes, we're thinking about joining the monthly thing, Allison. Don't tell my husband. I've got to ask him, can we please do it? Because we don't have a lot of monthly bills, so it would be adding something, so it'd be different. But I'm buying, in lieu of buying the books, yeah, if we're listening a lot, if he's going to commit to listening, we thought we'd do the month free and just see how much he got out of it. So, and just see, because I bought probably $100 worth of books over the last couple of years, bought Audible books. So, yeah. And I can do that while I'm sewing or painting or, even nature journaling. I can listen to stuff. So yes, almost every book that we bought on Kindle, if they say add the Audible version on for like $2.99, we've done that, hands down. If they offer the Audible version for cheap, if you buy the Kindle book, Allison, I bought the Wing Feather Saga, the first book, on Audible, so I'm excited. We get to listen to that one. We'll probably do that after Robinson Crusoe. So oh, well, I have Amazon Prime. They need to let me have 3 months Audible for free. I need to tell them that. It's fine. This will, hopefully, it will be on catch if nothing goes wrong. So, the morning time basket, my rambling. But just watch the books. Forget the rambling. Anyway, I will let you guys go. It was really fun to visit this morning and share my books. And I will talk to you soon. You too, Allison. I'm going to flip this around. Bye, Andy.